Oh, g'day there and welcome back to the Mad Monday podcast brought to you by the legends at 4 and 20 Pies. My name is Tino Fa'asua Manaiawi. I am joined this week by, we're sticking with, what was it, Leka Halakizi? You were trying to shoehorn in?
Leka Halakizi sounds awesome.
It's actually not too bad, yeah.
Yeah, or Leka Kizi Seema, or because then people will call me Kizi Steamer. I will stick with Roger Kizi Vasashek if that's all true.
Roger Kizi Vasashek, how's the hammy? A few more weeks?
Yeah, a few more weeks, unfortunately, man.
And joined again by Jarome Selesele, who joins us from the cuck chair in the corner of the studio. Good morning, Isaac.
No place I'd rather be. Good morning, fellas.
I think we need to start with the thing that everybody's talking about. I actually couldn't believe how my Instagram feed was about 6 consecutive posts about the exact same thing, rugby league topic over the last 2 days, and it was the whole Lachlan Galvin debacle. He or him via his management have basically told the Tigers we don't want to negotiate on another contract. Not only do we not want to, don't even table one, we won't even fucking read it.
Well, this is the thing, right? Lachlan Galvin is how old? Like
Lachlan Galvin.
19, right?
Yeah.
Lachlan Galvin is 19. He played all last season for the Tigers, impressing everyone in the league. You would argue that if the Tigers weren't so shit, he wouldn't have even played by now. Like if he was at any other team, you know what I mean? Yeah,
that's right.
So he's basically done a Reece Walsh, what he did for the Warriors. He used us to get some game time, show his stuff, and now he's like, yeah, I'm leaving. But having said that, if I was him and the Tigers offered me a contract, I don't want to stay there. Like, fuck.
Nah.
I
know. When I first saw this, I was like, you mean to tell me that signing Jarome Luai has not turned your club's fortunes around?
Yeah, exactly.
How could that not have worked? That place is an absolute debacle. Just last week before they announced this, did you see the statements coming out about Campbelltown's not fit for purpose? They actually don't have a home ground.
Oh my
God,
Tigers, right.
The Tigers are in absolute shambles. I feel like the victim here is actually Benji Marshall, who's been shit on the way out. The guy's been like, oh, Benji Marshall doesn't know how to coach. It's like, dude, you're 19.
That is interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I feel like at the Tigers when they appointed Benji Marshall, it was a real we don't have anyone else better. You know what I mean?
Well, they had
and they were developing Benji at the time.
Sheens, and they were like, yeah, you're going to do another 2 years, and then
That's
he was
right.
like, even I can't fix this.
Yeah.
Benji, you're up.
So something tells me there's something really wrong at the Tigers.
You reckon?
I feel like I've been saying that for like a decade now as well, longer even. Isaac, I mean, you're an Eels supporter, so you know what it's like to just be dealing with an absolute train wreck of a club, man. What's your read on the situation?
I don't know, they built the club around Lachlan Galvin. They brought him in last year. They obviously blooded him, and he was arguably their best player, even though Fainu ended up taking out their club's best player. But I'd say he was their best player. They brought in talent and Luai, Taruva. They've surrounded him, and now he's just turned around and said, nah, fuck that, I'm out.
Yeah.
So is he a piece of shit, or do the Tigers suck, or is it a bit of both?
I think that the Tigers suck because they're all pieces of shit. So both things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm
not like, if you were to say one of the teams in the NRL has got a really great young player who at 19 refused a $5 million contract.
Warriors.
Okay, other than the Warriors, and then I said, which club do you think it was?
Yeah, but the thing with the Warriors is I understand it because these players are often Australian, like Reece Walsh, and they want to go back to Australia. What's your excuse if you're the Tigers? You're in Sydney.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no... Yeah.
Well, it just must be terrible.
But what I love is this speaks volumes about the club is that the players are now shitting on him on social media.
That's what's been funny. So the pants man, Joel Harrison, who used to work here and now is over in Aussie, he seems to be on Sunia Turuva's close friends list on Instagram.
Yeah, it's got the little green circle in the top right corner from his Instagram story.
He's screenshotted his Instagram story, and it's a photo of Lachlan Galvin's locker with the Money, Money, Money song playing underneath it.
Great tune, by the way.
Oh, it's a huge tune. That's from
Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon from the WWE. And then Jarome Luai's chucked up a sick clip of an anime screenshot with Team First, which is such a Jerome Luai way to do it.
It's the most Jarome Luai thing.
Probably the biggest red flag, though.
What's that?
Those players taking to social media to talk shit.
Yeah, it is very rugby league, though. This is why we love rugby league. So, when we're saying that this is shitty from the Tigers, in the best possible way, because wouldn't Super Rugby be more fun if dudes are doing this kind of stuff?
Well, it's a Wednesday, and we're in here yarning about the NRL, about one of the worst. Wow, they're getting better, the Tigers. They certainly pumped the Eels, although it's no big deal.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
I think one of the interesting parts about this whole thing obviously the players turning on him. We'll get to SuperCoach later on. Jump on Adam Dewey if you've got change, I reckon. But I just think that every time this kind of thing happens, we are always like, why is there not a transfer window like
100%.
in soccer? Why isn't there a trade window like in the NBA? Some sort of off-season scenario. Players aren't allowed to sign with new clubs, I don't think, till November. And there's allegedly some tampering rules around. You can't talk privately to the players.
Yeah.
But anyone can go on TV and say anything. That the managers, the agents can come out and say, we're not signing with this club, this club, this club. Basically dictate where this guy's going to go to.
Here's an idea. Webby, at his next press conference, just says, nah, man, I fully back his decision. I get it. He's a young, blah, 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 blah.
Galvin.
Bring him over to the Wires.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Sean Johnson should
Back
go
him
over
up.
there and be like, you know what? You know where a player like him would excel?
Nah, Sean Johnson's not going to do it because if you want a scucky former half who helped, take a pretty average team to greatness, and Benji's not doing it for you, Sean Johnson's not going to work,
Yeah. But so the other part about the tampering thing, and Joe brought this up before we started recording this, was so Gus Gould's the general manager of the Bulldogs.
That's right.
And he can go on
His own podcast
and be like, he's the greatest teenage football player I've ever seen in my life, and he's going to make more money out of this game than anyone else. And that's not considered tampering?
Isn't that brilliant?
That's ridiculous.
Just giving flowers, man.
That's all it is. It's just it just so happens to be at the same time this is all happening. See, the thing is, right, the Tigers are playing checkers.
Yeah.
Lachlan Galvin's playing chess.
The Tigers are playing tiddlywinks.
Yeah, well, they are. Gus Gould's playing Settlers of Catan or some shit.
Yeah.
Because he started his own podcast. He's doing it, and he's managing a club and using just a potty and just saying facts that are in no way, shape, or form deemed as, what's it called? Like
tampering.
Tampering, yeah.
Which, but they blatantly are.
They are
tampering.
And they'll probably rule this out in seasons to come. They'll have to change some rules or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a bit ridiculous. You've got, case in point, no one's happier about this news about Lachlan Galvin right now than Daly Cherry Evans. And ain't nobody talking about DCE right now. He must be stoked. But remember when his thing happened, you got Braithen Nasta, who is a player agent.
Yeah, that's
fielding
right.
calls on NRL 360 from
That's
other
right.
player agents about where he's going to go.
That's right.
They're making offers on the TV show. This is why rugby league's the greatest game on earth.
It would be a great it would be a great TV show, like Suits, a Suits style TV show.
They're doing it on
They're
TV.
They're doing it exactly.
It's happening right now.
You don't need a fictional one. It's happening.
No, it's happening in front of our eyes. That's what I love about it. Then the players take to social media. They slag each other off. I do feel a little bit bad for Sunia Taruva because he put that on his private story.
His close friends.
The pants man strikes again.
But that's the thing. It doesn't even matter. On your private story, it doesn't matter. Screenshotting. Have the NRL players learned nothing from the amount of times they've been leaked from WhatsApp groups and Snapchats and all sorts of stuff?
Put the phones away. Although, by the same token, I do think it's fair in this instance for those dudes to be slagging them off.
100%.
Because it's like, well, particularly if you're Luai, I come here to play with you. You're only 19.
Oh, Luai, he's come over to play with you.
Yeah.
I've got my 4 championship, whatever the fuck it is. And I came to play with you, Lockie. No, you weren't.
No, and then you say you want 5 million. Man, I'm not even getting paid that.
That's
and
why
he's 6 million
exactly.
as well.
6
It
million.
was 6 mil, so he was meant to get an extension on this year and next year on top of it.
See, that is what Luai's pissed off about.
That's what I mean.
He's won however many premierships, and he didn't get that bag.
Yeah.
He got a great bag. More than I think he's worth, which is nothing, as a guy that hates him. Yeah, look, it's an interesting situation. And I tell you what, this happened with Teddy years ago, not to this extent.
Yeah.
They didn't develop him and give him an opportunity, then he was like, nah, I don't care what you throw at me, I'm leaving. But I reckon people will forget about this in like a month.
No, 100%. Whatever team he goes to, they won't give a shit. either.
He'll go to the Roosters or the Bulldogs, who are literally shaping as a contender right now. Perfect timing. I mean, it's gonna have to wait a while, but you know
I would
what I mean?
struggle to name the Bulldogs halves. Sexton?
Sexton,
Burton's injured,
Burton's injured,
but
yeah.
I think he's back this week.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. And you're right. They're going to gloss over it. We'll move on to the next scandal.
But for now, man, how good.
Oh, mate.
My only problem with this whole thing is with Turuva. Say
Right.
it with your chest.
Yeah.
Don't do it with close friends. Luai's out there posting it anyone to see. He's put it on his close friends. Obviously got exposed. Say it with your chest, brother.
That's right. That's a good point. Take a screenshot from Naruto and put team first, and then chuck that up with Kendrick Lamar behind it. That's the Luai way of addressing it. You know what he should do? Lachlan Galvin should chuck a story up on his Instagram saying, "Don't you guys have work tomorrow?" or something.
Yeah.
Of him leaning against the goalpost.
Just dollar signs or the next check that he gets. Send that through to them. Do we put a fork in the Tigers then?
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to start wanting to prove some shit now. Because they're already going... They're in the top 8, aren't they? NRL ladder.
I'm pretty sure.
It's been chopping and changing so much. Okay, so the Wars, by the way, are in 6th. The Tigers are 7th.
Yeah.
Just behind. So I think they've played 6. They've won half of them.
Do they get better from here?
I think they do.
Do you?
Yeah.
You think Dewey?
Dewey's the man.
I rate Dewey a halfback.
So do I.
He is sick, but his knee or whatever's made of glass.
All 3 of them, bro.
Yeah, all 3 of his knees. They're fucked.
He's done all 3 of them.
So I personally think the Tigers will come out with a point to prove this week. They are taking on...
The Eels. Easter Monday clash.
Yeah.
I think otherwise, but maybe a bit of personal bias.
Yeah, the Eels. So hang on. Who the hell did you guys play last week, the Eels? Oh,
Raiders.
The Raiders, 50-12. That's right. Yeah.
That's a line through the Eels.
So they're going to make a statement about the about this against the Eels. I reckon
the statement's going to be, we're all still miserable. There's just one less good player on our team.
Okay, let's say hypothetically they lose the next 3 games on the trot.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they bring him back in? Do you reckon he ever plays for the Tigers?
I reckon there's a bigger chance than I think most people do, because if I'm Benji, and I think Matty John said this on his show last night, but if I'm Benji, what do I give a shit if you hate me? Get out there and play football. We're paying you like a fucking surgeon to play a kid's game for a job. Get out there and play.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, why would I care? Hate me all you want. I don't care. Get out there and set up some tries, brother.
But you know what about poisoning the locker room, Manaia?
Oh, the otherwise healthy locker room at the Tigers.
Yeah, it's already fucked. All right.
Yeah, it's fair fucked.
All right.
I mean, if you hate Benji, if you go to the Tigers and you hate Benji,
Then
you knew he was there when you went there. Did you know that you had signed with the Tigers? It's like when players want to leave the Warriors. You knew we lived in New Zealand. You knew the team was based in South Auckland.
But you miss your family, though.
yeah, personal reason. What is it? Compassionate grounds.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
we play out there at Compassionate Grounds. All right, let's move on to the Storm versus the Warriors. We lost. Let's move on to next week.
Well, that to be honest, I'm just putting a line through that game.
Yeah.
The Storm, they're going to win the premiership.
Chances are, yeah.
Like, what team right now? The Dogs, sure.
Maybe.
Like, maybe still. I still think the Storm will beat them by 15 or so.
Yeah, I do too.
So I think it's more of a case of who can actually beat the Storm, and I think they're going to pump every single team this season the same way they pumped us.
Up until last week, I thought the Panthers could come right, but now I'm not so sure.
Nah, I don't think so.
I still think the Broncos, but I just feel like they've got a couple of, like, I wouldn't be surprised if either Ben Hunt or Adam Reynolds got a career ender in the next couple of weeks.
Well, they're 1,000 years old. That's the issue. And then you've got Reece Walsh, who's kind of hot and then cold. Like,
Ezra Mann will be back at some point, but
yeah, he'll crash through the front gates of Suncorp Stadium in his car and then rejoin. I don't know, man.
Are you worried at all about the Storm's lack of a second half? Because they've been coming out and same thing in the Warriors game.
Yeah.
But all season they've been blowing out teams in the first half.
Yeah.
And then second half, it's like
they coast. I think they could stay in it for 80 if they have to, but they just don't have to.
They don't have to, and I would say that, like, so last time when they did it against the Sea Eagles, they blew them off the park. They had just brought Hughes back, and he had some sort of hand injury. They took Coates off as well with a hammy, and they weren't carrying a spare winger. So they are resting players in the second half. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's a big part of why we're not seeing the massive blowouts.
Yeah. I think what they're doing is they, like you're running a marathon and you go Hundies. Maybe not a marathon. You're running the
half marathon.
A half marathon.
The 11K fun run through Hobbiton.
That's the one, the Hobbiton fun run. You're running there and you have blitzed it for the first 5K. You're way out in front of all the other Hobbits. Yeah. And to be honest, man, I can just coast home and I'm still going to win by a mile.
Yeah.
Why risk doing anything too strenuous to a very injury-prone team? When you look at Pappenhausen, Munster last season, Hughes at the moment is currently dealing with stuff like Nas, who's injuring his own teammates and himself. Like,
yeah.
So I can see why they just, I don't know.
It's the equivalent of if you ever get a massive lead in SuperCoach or fantasy.
100%.
You can start taking real gambles on players that you're bringing in because you're so far ahead on points. Whereas when you're behind the 8 ball in SuperCoach or Fantasy, you are just struggling to get the next cash cow. You've just got to get the team to where you need it to. So, yeah, I don't think. But the other part is what I realised this week, and I said this on the radio, was I've noticed that most people, and this isn't a bad thing, but most Kiwi sports fans don't follow the NRL. They just follow the Warriors. So they only know the Warriors. They don't know any of the other teams and how well they're going. And so when we get pantsed by the Melbourne Storm, which anyone who watches the NRL, got to be honest, probably saw that coming.
Yeah,
100%.
They've been pantsing everyone.
I mean, you're at my house, we still put bets on the Wars. You know what I mean?
580, I was like, this is a real, yeah.
And I was like, the thing I did too was convince myself, like, man, this season's full of upsets.
Yeah.
This is another one happening. Oh, no, it's the Melbourne Storm. No, it's not.
But so what happens is these guys, and it's still a hangover from 2023, there's a lot of like bandwagoners who are on there who are like, if you don't think that the Warriors are going to win every single game, then you're not a fan. And then when they do lose a game, everyone's like, what the hell? Is this the end of our season? I thought they were better than this. Like, you thought they were better than the Storm?
Especially after 5 games, because we've had a bye with brand new halves, like with injuries to massive key players.
It's just a funny thing that we don't do with any other sports team in New Zealand because I think our fans think of them as the All Blacks. They're a national side that plays in an Australian competition, whereas when the Highlanders, I don't know why I'm picking the Highlanders. I'm going to stick with the Highlanders. Fuck the Highlanders. When they suck, no one's like, man, dark times at the Highlanders. Man, why can't the Highlanders get any star players? Man, what are the Highlanders going to do? Are they going to get rid of anyone? Are they going to bring this dude in? We don't talk about that.
Nah.
But when the Warriors aren't doing well, it's like, what's going wrong there?
Well, what I like to think of is, actually, this could be a good exercise for us. Beginning of the season, you go, how many games, will we be happy with, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say 27 rounds, 25 or 4 games, whatever we play, and you go, all right, if we win half of those, that's 12. If we win 14, right?
I'll be stoked with that.
Stoked.
Yeah.
0.5, yeah.
Yep.
0.5 is always a good margin to aim for.
Yeah.
That's right. So you go, all right, so if we win 14, you go through the matchups, you circle the ones you don't mind us losing, and then before each game, you look at it and go, I don't mind if we lose this one.
Yeah.
And that way you're not going into every game really wanting them to win.
Yeah.
If they do win, holy shit, that's awesome.
And if that's how you're looking at it, this start's been perfect because
It's been great.
Jagged 3 on the trot.
We're in the top 8.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We've gone a bit long on. I didn't think we were going to talk too much about the Storm, but evidently the scar's still quite fresh.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll try and talk ourselves into beating the Broncos. Right, the Warriors take on the Broncos this weekend, Mount Smart Stadium, or Compassionate Grounds as you may know it. It's going to be on Saturday at 7:30, I believe, here at Mount Smart Stadium. They've just named the team list. Webby doesn't like to make changes. He has been forced to. He has made a bunch of them. Tane Tuopiki goes back to fullback. Ed Cozzy Club comes back in. Kirk Capewell to the centres. That's going to be interesting.
That is going to be interesting because he has not been great.
No,
he's been fine.
He hasn't. I started a segment on the radio this morning, a water cooler chat, like things to give to you to say about the Warriors if someone asks you and you don't really follow the Warriors.
That's a good one for this week.
And the first one is, Kirk Capewell actually made his Origin debut at centre.
How long ago was that? How old is he?
31.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
A couple of years younger than us. But yeah, that was a long time ago.
Well, that's the thing. That was probably 2 years after the Glory Hole incident. Like, that's early doors in his career. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not anything to go by.
No, I know, but it's a good little water cooler sort of, well, he used to play centre. Also, like I always say, and I know this is, I reckon I'm onto something here, but it could equally be the dumbest thing you've ever heard. Centre's not that far from second row. You're standing right next to each other. The roles are not that different. Often the players are interchangeable.
I reckon it's different, and Isaac, feel free to weigh in here as well, because
No, don't.
you don't have back rowers and centres running at you. You've got centres, wingers, and possible fullbacks running at you.
Yeah.
I reckon it's got to be one of the hardest positions to defend.
Definitely need to be quicker.
Yeah, like you look up and you've got Pappenhausen or Teddy or any of these like amazing fullbacks.
Yeah.
And having an ancient dude out there who hasn't been that great this season. How about this for a hot
31's
take?
not that old, bro.
30. Well, yeah, to be honest, it's younger than I am. Is he only 31?
Yeah, I think so.
Fuck, why am I picturing him like ancient? Yeah, he's got it. Or did someone just throw out that number? I'm just going to Google him. There's 4 of us in here, but
No, keep talking while you're Googling.
how about this though? Leka Halasima starting in the back row. What are the chances he holds that position? Because I would love to see that.
I'd love to see it too. And I reckon, even Mitch Barnett said after that last game, he's like, this is, and I've heard him say this before, it was the young guys who had to show the old guys how to tackle again. And I got to be honest, like, I wouldn't be mad at Leka starting on one side.
I would love it.
I think Marata coming off the bench who can cover that middle role as well, because he's a big bastard.
He's a big boy.
He is a big, but Leka's doing a better Marata impression than Marata's doing.
100%
When we signed Marata, I was picturing him doing what Leka's been doing.
Exactly. So, yeah, I do think there's a bit of that. Webby's not the coach that's going to do it.
No.
But I wouldn't mind seeing it.
It does mean that Jacob Laban comes onto the bench.
Yeah, which is good.
Which is good, because he showed a lot of promise last season. Isaac, do you like the Warriors at all?
Yeah, no, they've earned my respect this season.
Really?
They've earned my respect.
So are they your second team?
Nah, not at all. I don't have a second team.
Yeah,
no
right.
chance.
It's Eels and nothing.
Eels or nothing.
All Eels all day.
But I do like Laban on the bench, though. But I think Kurt Capewell is going to go all right at centre.
I do too.
I reckon he's got a touch of the Dan Gagai in Origin about him.
Oh.
You reckon
Dan
like he's...
Gagai, any other time he's playing shit. Well, not shit, but he's not the best.
Yeah.
Put him in an Origin jersey at centre,
Right.
and he's cleaning the floor.
So you reckon we're getting Origin capes?
I reckon.
Origin capes? I like it. Oh, you've talked me into it.
So you're saying whenever he puts the 3 on his back,
Yeah.
he turns into Origin gags?
I reckon he's... Origin capes.
Well, look, I hope so. What's your gut say about Broncos v Waz then?
I think since it's obviously going to be shit weather, I'm going to go Broncos based off the forward pack alone.
Yeah.
Just because it's going wet weather footy, that's just how good's your forward pack.
And ours is lacking so much. Like, no Fisher Harris, I think, is massive.
Yeah, would it be very handy to have a James Fisher-Harris going up against a greasy Payne Haas?
Well, and that's the thing, like,
Tough to deal with.
Payne Haas, who seems to be running at the halves and stuff more nowadays rather than just at the forward. So he is going to be giving Chanel and Metcalf assholes all night.
Nightmare. Yeah.
Thank God for Aaron Clark, by the way, for being just another guy in our forward pack who we're like, oh, he's staunch, he can lead the way through grit.
I reckon he's put on like 20 kilos in the last 2 years.
He's grown like an extra metre, in my opinion.
He's built like a wombat.
He's actually like 4'7", but fuck, the way he plays.
Yeah. All right, if the Warriors are gonna win this, how does it happen? Do you reckon?
I think through grit, low scoring affair. It's wet. We rely on our defence, and Chanel Harris-Tavita will fluke a try in the last 10 minutes. I reckon it's going to be a low scoring affair.
I hope so. Isaac, how do you, if the Warriors, I know you think the Broncos will win, but if the Warriors were going to win, how would it happen?
Reynolds, Ben Hunt, Reece Walsh, Payne Haas all injured.
That doesn't sound too stupid, to be honest.
Reynolds, you can almost lock it in. If there's a market on TAB for Reynolds getting injured, I think you got a good shot at it.
Yeah.
And Ben Hunt too. Like he's pretty hardy, but he's old.
Yeah, he's old as dirt. Yeah.
Actually, Adam Reynolds blowing his hammy, just kicking a goal.
Reece Walsh revenge game, like someone that he's pissed off at the club, just hasn't forgotten it. He slips, they take his head off.
I reckon Reece Walsh, because he's been up and down this season, mostly down. He's been trying a bit too hard. I reckon he's going to be like, yo, this is my revenge game against the Waz, even though they actually did me a massive solid.
You reckon there's a chance he could lose them the game?
I reckon he could lose them the game by trying to do some shit that he can't do.
I hope so. So then after that we go Knights.
Which is winnable. They've scored 0 points in the last year.
Yeah. Then we go Cowboys at Magic Round, which could be, I think that could be another dub. Dragons, by then they could be humming. They're showing signs of coming right, the Dragons.
DWZ back. I completely forgot that we were missing him.
Yeah.
RTS is back after that. Dolphins at Suncorp. So to be honest, man, and the good thing about the NRL this season is, unless you're playing the Bulldogs or the Storm, you go, oh, that's winnable.
Yeah.
Like every game is winnable.
All those games I'm looking at for the Waz, and I think, definitely winnable.
Even Brizzy. Like Brizzy's been beaten by some pretty average teams this season, and then they've pumped other teams. So every single one of these teams, and then we get to have our revenge against the Raiders eventually as well after what happened in Vegas. So to be honest, I think if it wasn't for the Melbourne Storm, anyone could win this season.
Yeah.
It's just one of those seasons.
I'm circling June 1st, Gypsy Day, and we all come back and just have a look and see where the Warriors are sitting at in the table and how they're looking. We'll have everyone back by then, probably not James Fisher-Harris.
The only one we have to win, Cowboys Magic Round.
Yeah.
Because you and I are going to be there.
Yeah.
And them winning at Magic Round last season
You and Aiken's going to be there.
was one of the greatest things. You and I, nice.
Yeah. No, I can't wait to experience it. I'm looking forward to it.
It is going to be good. Stonka of the round. I actually chucked the wrong game in here.
You chucked in Eels versus Tigers.
Which is not the latest game, but it's actually Eels v Raiders, 50 points to 12. Now, the reason why I put this in as the stonker of the round is because Izaak is such a massive Eels fan.
And there weren't any stonkers.
Nah. Izaak, what's going on with the Eels, man?
Well, I actually walked in today, or after yesterday's Teamless Tuesday, and I've got a bit of a skip in my step now.
Oh.
Our main man's back.
Moses, he is back.
He's back for this week, but as of last week, it's just hard to beat the Raiders in Canberra.
Yeah.
We did it a few times. The Wires. Not you and I.
Last year.
Not you and I, kid. Last year. So do you think, how many points do you think Moses is worth? Is it 38? Because that's how much you guys got a hiding by.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I've been weighing up is, yes, we get Moses back. We probably get maybe 3 more tries on the board.
Yeah.
But it doesn't account for the 50 we've been leading in.
Nah.
Exactly, yeah.
I know, that's the problem.
And the crazy thing about the Eels, too, is just the guys you've got in reserve grade. I don't understand it. Are they...
Second best team in reserve grade.
It's crazy. Like Madison, Bryce Cartwright, who was playing awesome last season, all these great forwards. Do you have any idea what's going on there?
Look, unlike the Tigers, we're rebuilding our culture.
Yeah, right, okay.
And unfortunately, there are a couple of social media stars as well.
Oh, really?
So they got to get over that hump, and they can maybe find themselves back into our team.
A good week for the Eels to run into the Tigers, though. So the Eels are playing the Tigers this week. I mean, that couldn't be any better.
It could be good or bad.
Yeah.
Good in a sense, they're in their lockers and
disarray.
turmoils, and they come out, play a shitter. But then bad, they come out and prove a point, and Luai scores 3 tries.
Oh, God, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to see that. I don't think anyone wants to see that happen.
Nah.
A fan of his ninjutsus?
His ninjutsus?
His finger signs after he scores?
Oh, no, I'm not a fan of anything he does.
Yeah. Not a big...
I'm sure he's a nice guy. Everyone says he's a real nice guy.
Are you sure he's a nice guy?
But I think people are just saying that.
Absolutely.
I don't need...
That's what people say before they shit on someone. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Well, fuck him. That's what people say when they're...
But everyone's like, no, trust me, he's like a real nice guy. I'm like, everything I see about him makes me think he's not a nice guy. You telling me that isn't enough.
I know. So then they're like, oh, yeah, but I met him and he seemed nice. Yeah. It's like, oh, he smiled for your photo, did he?
Who do you reckon's nicer? Who do you reckon's a nicer guy, him or Galvin?
I think Galvin.
Same, right?
I do wonder if a large part of not to go back to the Galvin thing, but I do wonder if there's a lot of people around him being like, you need to go here so you can make more money. You need to go here. We need to get you over here,
Yeah, true.
Because he's just 19. When you're 19, you're just like, oh, okay. Would I go over there? Okay.
I mean, 5 million seems like a lot. Oh, it's not. I could get more. Okay.
Kind of feels like everyone's going to fucking hate me for this, but okay. Yeah.
You're sweet as, man.
All right. Should we take a quick break and we'll come back and put a bet on and talk a little bit of SuperCoach? Just before we do, though, do you want free Warriors tickets?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you can't have them. But this NRL season, we have your chance to win double pass the One New Zealand Warriors plus a jersey to wear to the game. All you have to do is text Warriors and your home city to 3236 to be into the win, and that's all it takes, Chris. Put your phone away. You can't enter it. Quick break. We'll be right back. Alrighty, time for us to place the TAB hunch for this week on the Mad Monday podcast. And fellas, I've got to be honest with you, I have, as I do each week, have a quick gaze at the try scorer markets for the Wars.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a lot. I mean, we did go head to head because we kept the faith last week. This week, I think that there's an exciting prospect, and it is the first-time starter Leka Halasima. You've got to scroll all the way down to $4.80 to find him for the anytime try scorer market. Now, he has scored in both of his last games.
He is... Okay, if it is a wet game, at this point we're waiting for the tropical cyclone to hit. It's kind of windy but not wet yet.
Yeah.
We're expecting it to be wet this weekend.
Oh,
If it is wet against the Broncos, like we can't generate amazing backline moves and stuff at the moment, let alone without RTS, without Chance Nickel-Klukstad, with all these, with Cape Wā at centre, we're going to score tries through Marata or him crashing over, I reckon. Like, that's how we're going to score.
Yeah.
I reckon that's a brilliant bet. And also, it's exciting because his tries are exciting.
They are.
Shit, he's the man.
And 480. I don't think you can walk past that.
$4.80, it's absolutely brilliant. What do you reckon?
Going up against a weaker edge as well. New edge pairing for Broncos.
Oh, really? Who's starting there?
I think it's Jaden Hunt and...
Oh, wow. Because Gashevsky or something was there, wasn't he?
He's out for a week.
Yeah.
And then I think it might be Ricky.
Oh, Jordan Ricky. Oh, he's a pretty staunch defender, though.
He's hot. Don't get it twisted.
He's fucking hot.
He is fucking hot.
He's fucking hot.
Man, he was on our flight from Amsterdam to Munich.
Ricky.
Jordan Ricky was.
Wow.
And Jesse Arthurs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And
Would you nah, don't worry.
let him blast your wife.
It was going to be something along those lines.
Yeah. He got on the plane and I was like, that man is beautiful. Oh, it's Jordan Ricky. You don't expect to see Jordan Ricky in Amsterdam.
What were they doing?
Oh, rehab probably. There's probably some...
Were they going over there to do the old Angus Crichton treatment?
No, I reckon there was some... Yeah, I reckon like platelet spinning or some sort of proprietary German,
Yeah.
rehabilitation
How...
sort of thing. For their body, not for
Was
drugs
it just
and-
them two?
Nah, there were a bunch of other people, but I didn't recognise them.
Because they were all ugly.
They might have... Yeah, I mean, fuck. Jordan Ricky walks past. You're not looking at the uggos behind him.
What about Jesse Arthurs? He's gone from like, oh yeah, he's a hot dude to like, yo, this guy's really lent into being a hot dude.
He is. He's having a real glow up this year. I think he might have gone and got the Bali special where you get both sleeves and your back done in one go.
Oh really?
Yeah, and then he's come back with he's doing something with his hair. I don't know if it's like...
It's the Nico Hines thing where it always looks wet.
It's always wet, but there's flecks of different colours. It's like he's got the hair of like a spaniel.
The hair, I thought you were going to say Spaniard.
No, maybe a Spaniard.
Just on glow-ups.
Yeah.
Like if you're already a hot dude, can you not have a glow-up? You know what I mean? Glow-ups are for ugly dudes.
Yeah.
Can you let ugly dudes have glow-ups?
Sorry, man.
Like he's already hot.
I am.
Sorry, this is mostly me. Actually, this is just an excuse for me to talk about your recent glow-up.
Yeah.
Just like if you're a hot dude, you don't need to have a glow-up.
I know.
And he's gone and had one. I just think it's bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit. He's quickly becoming one of those hot exes that left the Warriors. And you're like,
Fuck, I forgot he used to be.
Oh,
Yeah,
he played
God.
Warriors as well.
He
Yeah.
did, man. God.
for quite a while.
So yeah, we will lock in liquor for any time.
Yeah, lock and lick it. $4.80. Just before we get into the SuperCoach update, fellas, the Texas Beer Garden Tour is on. This year's Export Beer Garden Tour is going XXL as we head to Texas. Think big beers, big barbecues, even bigger cowboys. You can be in to win a 7-day trip to Austin, Texas with DB in the Export in the ACC. Text Ultra to 3236 to enter. How's everyone's SuperCoach looking this week?
Shit.
Any...
So what? Basically, one of the discussions I've got here is at what point do we stop making money and going for cheapies and just fucking get big guns in?
So
Because I can't help it.
No, neither can I, and this has always been my biggest issue in any fantasy league I do. All I do is try and get cheapies in, and then I look up and there's 2 weeks left and I haven't scored any real points.
And you've got like heaps of money in the bank and like a great lot of cheapies growing in value.
Yeah, and then by that stage you can bring everyone in, but then someone gets injured or it's generally around Origin. You're like, I can bring all these dudes in. And
Or everyone's miles ahead of you anyway. It doesn't matter who you bring in.
That's right. So this year though, there's been so many cheapies and cash cows and players that have made so much money. All of those guys that you've got in your centre wing position.
Outperforming the guns as well.
Your Sheba Sak, your Padu's, your bloody Jenkins, your Tamales, all these dudes in the centre wing thing.
Who's on Purdue, by the way?
I got off him and then he went.
Yeah, because he
Nuclear.
looked average in that first game, eh?
Yeah.
Or like that first or second game. And now he's like, looks like one of their best players.
I've got him. In the Mad Monday Munters group, I've slid back to 6th out of 356. We've still got the biggest, as far as I know, SuperCoach group in New Zealand.
And we
And only 5 years are better than me.
and every year as well, we wait till like a week out to start it. Like imagine if we actually had a proper run in like months out. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Get in. It could be massive. It could be over 1,000.
So this week, I think, if you didn't get on one of Kant or Egan last week, you could potentially do that.
See, I went for one of them. I went for Kant, I think.
Yeah, so did I.
And then I could have done Egan. I was like, I don't need to. I've got 5 cheapy wingers or some shit.
Yeah.
Youngie at fullback. I'm actually versing Izaak this week.
You're done for, mate.
And so I finally got rid of Youngie. His break even was 2, and I was like, I feel like his break even's been 2 for like a month.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I don't need to have him doing F-all and fullback. Got rid of him. Panic bought Teddy. Low ownership.
Yeah.
Fullback who's just at least going to get me 70 or 80 each week.
Yeah, and could turn up as well.
And I've got Ponga there who's like either...
He's rocks and diamonds.
Oh my God, and
You
so
can't
many
sell
rocks
him.
at the moment.
You
man.
can't sell him.
No, I know I can't sell him. Of course I can't.
You can't sell him because that locks in the loss.
Right.
If you're selling him, you're saying he's going to have a shitter for about 6 weeks and I'll buy him back after.
And he just isn't. Was it 2 seasons ago he had that run, the one where he stole the Dally M off Sean?
Yeah.
He was like miles clear of everyone else as the best player in SuperCoach. So I just think about that, and I can't drop him.
To circle back to your original question, when do you go for points versus cheapies? I've sort of been going points this entire season just because I fucking nailed my team straight off the gate, but also because there's been so much cash in. I feel like everyone's team's making a lot of cash. It's actually not that hard to find it. So I think now's the time to try and get your team as close to its peak, stage 3 freezer form.
I think
Super Saiyan 3.
You bring in a cheapie if it means you're downgrading an old cheapie. So you can bring in a gun with it.
A cash out, yeah.
So I think every week from here on out, it's cheapie and a gun coming in.
Can I give you my... I reckon I've got the best cash out option for this round.
Is it Manaia Stewart?
No, not bad though. Cheaper.
Is it Halasima?
No, even cheaper. Bargain basement, 198.8Ks. You'll forgive me, Hugo Savala.
Oh, Roosters.
He's the Roosters halfback who's going to be playing this week.
Right.
He is second row forward eligible.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
I think he keeps that spot as well because Chad Townsend, luckily they threw him in the bin already.
Yeah.
He's rubbish.
No, and you don't bin a guy like that and then bring him back in. I think you're right. The only thing would be if Sam Walker comes back, but
his ACL has been pushed back.
Yeah.
They've said he's been heavy. So how many minutes is this? Because his Hugo Savala, has he been coming off the bench or something?
Nah, he's been playing 80.
Yeah.
He scored 20.
Yeah.
He scored 20 in 80 minutes last week.
Yeah. But anytime you can get it, I mean, this is a cash out. I'm not saying this guy's going to score you 100 and win your competition. You cash someone like Seyfarth or Gashevsky if you've still got him down to that dude, and then that frees up something somewhere else that you can bring in one of those guns.
You can wait a week with Savala as well. I know he finished, I think it was last year or one of the games earlier this year, he scored like negative something. So his break-even's like ridiculous, but he can't obviously go past
Negative
basement price, yeah. So I reckon that's the best cash out. I think I wouldn't mind jumping on Dewey this week. I'm probably not going to be able to do it just because of the way my team's set up. But Dewey at centre wing or
he's a gun.
5'8", yeah.
He's a gun. He's a goal kicker, which is sick.
Yeah.
Between injuries and the Tigers losing, so Lachlan Galvin comes back in. I personally can't do it.
I know. I've had him every single time he's been injured.
Yeah, so don't jump on him because he'll be injured straight away.
It's the haircut. It's the nose. I just love the dude.
Yeah, he is the man. Manaia Stewart is probably the one for me. 288k. He's in because Kale Ero is out.
Yeah.
And his break even is negative 61.
Is Ero not due back soon though?
He's due back in a couple of weeks, but he's got a history of hammy injuries. Is it his hammy? So the Sharks put out a thing saying they're going to be cautious with him. So Hiroti's going to go up $100,000 this weekend.
Yeah, nice.
At which point, if Kale Ero was to come back next week, cool, I've made $100,000. If not, he's probably going to score tries. He's playing for the Sharks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Your left edge is dangerous.
Yeah, I think he is a bit of a he's the backs version of that Cant dude for the Knights who's
Cant.
That's good Cant. He's going to drop out once Lucas is back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, made what I call hella bank.
I'm hearing
cheddar, you call it
cheddar, yeah.
I'm hearing Kent will go to 13.
Can
and then they'll push Frizzell out because Frizzell's not an out and out 13.
Well, he should just be in the front row.
Yeah, and they'll push him to prop.
Yeah.
Because they're short on props at the moment.
Yeah, so that's
I
it.
think Knights are all at sea, to be honest. But
so if Kant does hold a spot, sweet. But it's him and Manaia Stewart, same thing. Few weeks, generate shitloads of cash, and then I'm going to start upgrading to guns. The question is, who are the gun fucking centre? We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Who are the gun centre wingers?
I think they're the same as last year. They just haven't been firing.
So everyone's going to bring in Valentine Holmes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who has actually been going decent.
Yeah. Jermaine Asako, Ruben Garrick. I don't think the names really change.
Lomax if he wasn't injured.
Lomax when he's out for a long time.
Here you go. What are you doing with Tuipulotu, who I've also got?
Yeah, so
Show me the money.
Because he's injured for, they said moderate hammy, not minor.
hammies scare the piss out of me.
2 to 4 for a minor. Don't know what a moderate is. 4 to 6.
I know, but also
Must
like
be.
how many times have you seen someone come back from a hammy and then just blow it straight away again?
100%. And like he's that at the beginning of the season on Mad Monday, I believe it was Manaia.
Yes.
You said he could be a potential option, and I laughed. I was like, Manaia doesn't. What? The Dragons.
It was when he scored those 3 tries,
yeah, and
and I
then
was like, why couldn't he do that again?
100%. And then since then, I've gone, actually, no, the Dragons attack down that left. There's Valentine, there's Gutherson.
Yeah, I didn't think
He's going to score heaps of tries.
I didn't think the Dragons were as shit as everyone else thought. I was always like, man, if I'm a team playing against them, I still don't want to come up against Valentine Holmes and fucking
100%.
Gutho
and then him
and Tuipulotu on the
he's
wing.
a great finisher.
Yeah,
So I'm going to hold him if it's like 1 or 2, like if, once we get an update, but you might have to drop him.
I think you get rid of him. And my buys of the week, I got 2. It's Egan. You got to find a way to work him into your team. Dylan Egan. Dylan Egan.
So
for sure.
He's a knight. Hasn't he been named on the bench this week?
Yep, but his role he comes on. I think they're going to do a late last minute switch between him and Luciano Leilua.
Oh yeah.
But then even when he's coming off the bench, he's still scoring heaps in base. Coming on
70s
coming on in the middle and then moving to the edge once Luciano goes off. So he's still going work. And then I think the buy of the round has got to be Big Fifi, David Fafita.
Yeah.
Name to start now.
I want to.
Coming off a massive game last week. I think it's only up from here. He's earned his keep. He's back on that edge role.
The issue is, because I started with Fafita, I took the punt because they had the bye round 1. I loaded up on Titans.
Yeah.
And then they came out. He was on the bench. They looked like shit.
Tino's been suspended.
Tino was suspended. So my issue with Fafita, because I looked 100% at doing that, in order to bring him in, I've got to somehow free up a spot in my second row / front row forward because we've got so many of those 2RF front row forward. I literally can't do it.
Is it because you can't bring yourself to bin the horse?
I'll have to bin the horse who scored 68 and is probably going to score 68 every game.
Yeah.
So like 68 and then Fifi could have an off game and score about the same.
Fifi. What about a Seyfarth? Have you got Seyfarth?
Nah, don't have Seyfarth.
Don't have Seyfarth.
Nah. So I looked at trying to make it happen. I couldn't. I think I'll have to wait for next week. But I agree. You've got to jump on him, right? If he shows any signs of life, which he did.
Boy, did he. It was like 11 tackle breaks or something like that.
2 tries, wasn't it?
Because he's in the vein of, and this is another player to look out for down the track, is the Angus Crichton.
Yeah, he's coming into my team at some point.
Angus Crichton, Tedesco does this. Luai used to do it. He was not that he was ever really that fantasy relevant. It's the guy that runs sideways across the field slapping people's hands away because they count.
It's the Andrew Fafita method.
Andrew Fafita was the
goat at that.
Yeah. Because those count as tackle busts.
A prop running sideways.
Yeah.
Andrew Fafita just slapping hands away, getting all those tackle breaks.
So those dudes that play like that, Jaden Campbell's got a little bit of that as well. Those dudes that do that, they are super coach, make or break sort of players.
How much do you get for a high five?
Yeah, that's
Is it like 3 points?
Something like that.
I get pissed off if I don't own somebody and I see them running across the field just slapping down hands. I'm like, oh, that's so bullshit.
I know, it is bullshit, because then they'll get 15 points for that run and they lost 10 metres and the team's in a real shit position.
But then when they are in my team, I'm like, fuck, that's a run.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother, keep slapping.
So, because one of my things from last season, which I every year say I'm going to do and then never do, is just have all the goal kickers, every single goal kicker, go through all the teams and just put them all in your team.
Oi.
So, like, if Uppy's hooker and he's kicking goals, put him in.
Yeah.
And just as many positions as possible. If Siosiwa Tokiaho is kicking goals again, put him in at prop.
Yeah.
I never do it, but as another one to pair those goal kickers with hand slappers.
Hand slappers.
And just have the ultimate team.
Goal kickers and hand slappers. All right, last question before we go, because I'm all at sea. I don't even care if the listeners get any value out of this. I just want to know, who the hell do I captain this week?
I'm taking on Izaak, so I'm going to throw a red herring in there.
Yeah, okay.
I've brought in Teddy. I'm going to captain him against the Panthers.
Delete your app, brother.
What do you reckon?
Izaak, who are you?
I'm going Cleary.
You are going
Just
Cleary?
Stay true.
That's quite good, because if I do leave Teddy v Cleary, you v me, that's quite a good matchup.
Yeah. What I hate is getting a bit fruity with my captain's choice and then Cleary scores 90 and you're like, why didn't I just go Cleary? Trying to outsmart myself,
I think the guy now, my Cleary for this season, just while the Panthers are a bit up and down, is Payne Haas.
Payne Haas, yeah.
Every week, why didn't I just captain Payne Haas?
I know, but he lost me the other week, and then last week I captain Ponga, who scored like 20 or something.
The thing is,
I'm all at sea with captain.
If someone was like, yo, I'm going to score 80 every week, roughly.
Yeah.
Captain me every week, would you take that over the potential of because by the time you average out Ponga's shit ones from his gun ones, it's probably the same as a guy scoring 80 each
I know, but it just, when you captain When I captained Garrick the other week and he scored like 130 or something,
Is that what has rocketed you up there?
it feels so good. Versus like a guy scoring 70 or 80 and you're like, oh yeah, okay.
So
sweet.
I'm going for one in the hand, and you're going for two in the bush is what's going on.
Yeah.
You're a real two in the bush guy.
I'm a glass cannon.
Risk it for the biscuit, man.
All or nothing. All right, that'll do us for this week on the Mad Monday.
Just quickly, if you want to join our league, by the way, 111045, and you could win yourself a new Warriors jersey. We've got a couple of them thanks to Dynasty Sport.
Beauty. All right, we will see you guys next week for another episode of the Mad Monday podcast. Enjoy your long weekend of rugby.
Up the waz.
He's not Australia.